So guys, in Australia in a few weeks, they're going to have AEW Grand Slam. And I do want to say that definitely this is a card where they really have to knock it out of the park, really. So, Revolution really starts the year, but definitely with Grand Slam, they have to show to like the whole wrestling world that, AEW matters, that they can have a really great card. And also they can have a card with matches that people want to see. Like there is a bunch of talk, I believe, by Dave Meltzer, who was saying that they're going to have Jay White versus John Moxley, and is that ever gonna draw anything? And then also the next thing is you have to think about to yourself, okay, we've done Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay, Ricochet versus Will Ospreay multiple times, so you have to really think about what type of matches should they have that's going to draw money. So I've made a list of matches that they should have for AEW Grand Slam. So the first match I want to have is Adam Copeland versus John Moxley. That, one thing that I will say is that I'm a little worried that they may say, let's save this to Revolution. And that's not a good choice, because the problem is it's almost like saying, why would I want to go to a show in Brisbane when I know that in a few weeks you're going to have a better option, really, So that's why I say just get to it. That's what they want to do, get to it. I would rather see John Moxley versus Adam Page or John Moxley versus Bobby Lashley at Revolution if they kind of put Adam Copeland in the spot. And I think that would be really, really good. And you can do multiple things. You can have Adam Copeland win, have Christian cash it in. And, like I've said, you kind of need to just end this Death Rider stuff. It should end at Revolution. If they extend this any more longer, then I don't know what the fuck they're doing, really. But I think that 100% you need to get to Adam Copeland versus John Moxley. That's the big money match. Put Adam Copeland in a prominent spot. That's how you're going to make money. Next match is Powerhouse Hobbs versus Bobby Lashley. The reason why I want to do this is that there's a lot of talk about Hobbs possibly joining the Hurt Syndicate. This needs to be a big year for Powerhouse Hobbs. And the other thing, too, is that he's one of the AEW originals. He's worked really hard. He has a different look. They don't really push big men that much. And there's a story that's because the Young Bucks and everybody's jealous that, he's a big body people. But you need to have Hobbs have significant matches. So just get right to the jugular. Hobbs versus Bobby Lashley. I could even say if Hobbs loses or wins this match, winning would help him a lot. But he can lose or come close or anything like that. And I think that would be good. But this would be a match to say, okay, well, Hobbs matters. And definitely this year he should be receiving championship matches and maybe even championship wins. But Hobbs needs to matter. So this is the match to have. The next match is Anthony Bowens versus Max Caster. One of them may join the Hurt Syndicate. And what I'm trying to also have, too, is that, let's push these stories right along, really. And also it's good because you don't want to have this on Dynamite. You don't want to wait until Revolution. You want to say, okay, well, we have a pay-per-view coming up. This pay-per-view needs to matter. So we're going to have the matches that matter. So Anthony Bowens versus Max Caster, they've been feuding. They've had disagreements. Let's actually, let's lay a fire under this. Let's make this actually matter. The next match that I would do is Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet #1 contendership. The winner of this match is going to face the champion at Revolution. So you could do Adam Copeland versus Swerve Strickland. You can actually do John Moxley versus Swerve Strickland. Ricochet is not at the point where he should be wrestling for the AEW championship. I think that Swerve would be the big box office draw really. So, I would have them have a match. You can do something where Swerve wins, and then you can have a rematch, and then have Ricochet win that one. Even if you give him like a title run for like a couple of weeks or something like that, really. But that would be a match to have. They're feuding. This is something people want to see. It's going to be hard hitting and brutal. And Ricochet's not been in these types of matches really. So I really think that this would be a match that really sets things in motion really. The next match I want to do is Mercedes Moné versus Queen Aminata for the TBS Championship. That we really need to have new people. It can't be Mercedes, Mina Shirakawa, Mercedes, Chris Statlander, Tony Storm, Mariah May, Tony Storm, Thunder Rosa. You really need new people, really. So you need to either have, I would say, Queen Aminata or Billy Starks. You need to kind of graduate a couple of women from Ring of Honor and show, okay, we can have a new roster, really. But Queen Aminata has been impressing me. So this would be a good match for her. Mercedes does long matches very well. You need to feature Mercedes because she is a name. So why not help her build a new star? You can even have Queen Aminata have a surprise win. But that would be the match that I would have. Undisputed Kingdom versus the Death Riders. Great match because, the Undisputed Kingdom, you have Adam Cole, babyface versus heels. And then the other thing that I'll put into this is that this further tells the audience we're over Adam Cole versus MJF, really. So this would be a match to have, and people like Adam Cole, so this would definitely, put a lot of shine on him if they both had a match. The Death Riders versus the Undisputed Kingdom for the trios titles. That would be a great one. I would have MJF and Wardlow versus Private Party. Like I've said before, and I'll say it again, that I think MJF and Wardlow would be a great tag team. You could put the titles on MJF and Wardlow, as Private Party have done with them. They keep feuding with Top Flight too much. So they really need to kind of get past that. You need to feature MJF and Wardlow in prominent spots. So I think that would be a really great match. The next match that I'll do is Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega just returned. What better match to have Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega? Because you don't want to have Kenny Omega and Okada touch. You need to have your Will Ospreay match because he's kind of like the biggest draw, the person that gets the most attention. So you should do that match. Omega versus Will Ospreay. That would be a really great match. I'll throw this one in, Adam Page versus Takeshita. And the reason why I want to do this is because Adam Page matters. A lot of people want to see him go after the AEW championship. You can do Adam Page versus Takeshita, or Adam Page versus Darby Allin. I think Adam Page versus Darby Allin would be the match. But because, Adam Page actually matters a lot. So you need to kind of have him in a prominent spot. So that's what I would do. Or even like Adam Page versus Samoa Joe. Because you have to do something where Adam Page has to matter. And this is one of these things for this year. You have to make Adam Page one of those wrestlers like Shawn Michaels, Edge, Randy Orton, Batista. Like in that group of, okay, well, he's one of the guys that actually do matter. Kyle Fletcher versus Okada. You just made Okada won the Continental Classic, and he won that championship. You have to make sure Okada matters. If you want to set up Omega versus Okada, they have to have victories for a period of months, really. They have to be featured. Okada has to show what he can do. Kyle Fletcher will be a great opponent. You'll see Okada do more offense. That would be a really great match. Tony Storm versus Mariah May for the AEW Women's Championship. They're going in this direction. I don't mind them doing this. Get it out of the way, and then don't have them touch. And then the next match I'll do is Will Nightingale versus Marina Shafir. And the reason why I'll do Will Nightingale versus Marina Shafir is because Will Nightingale is on Orange Cassidy's side. So what I would do is you have to have Marina Shafir matter. Set up more women's feuds. So this would be a good way to set it up to say, okay, this is Will Nightingale, this is Marina Shafir. They're both powerhouse women. They roughed each other up at World's End. Let's follow that up. Let's actually give them a match. Let's do something different. Let's have Marina Shafir on the show. Let's have Billy Starks or Queen Aminata. Let's show the audience, different women. And then the last match that I'll have is Brian Cage and Lance Archer versus Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara for the ROH Tag Team Championship. Because, two things. That Lance Archer has been wrestling for a long time. Cage just won the $100,000 thing. Dustin Rhodes, obviously, he's a legend in the business. He's done a lot of great things. Sammy Guevara is a new star. He's one of the four pillars, so you have to have him actually matter, really. So why not have that match? Like I said before, that I think during the kickoff shows, you can have at least one or two maximum Ring of Honor matches. So I think that would actually be really good. You can even do like Chris Jericho, versus, Sammy Guevara, or Chris Jericho versus somebody on the roster, like to elevate somebody towards the Ring of Honor, like championship picture. But, that should be there. But I really think that, as I said, with Grand Slam, a lot of things are being accomplished. With this card, you're saying, okay, well, here are concurrent feuds. They have to be paid off at Grand Slam. We're not going to treat this like a filler pay-per-view. And then we're actually going to have all the matches that matter at Revolution, because then why would anybody in Brisbane go to that show? The next thing is that you have Aminata, Billy Starks, Marina Shafir, and you also have Sammy Guevara, Private Party, and Undisputed Kingdom. They've not really wrestled that much together, really. But you have a bunch of people on this card. Powerhouse Hobbs. You have like 6 people on this card that are actually wrestlers that you can build up that actually can be bigger deals. So that would be, making new stars and all that great stuff, really. And then, as I said, that you need to have matches that matter. If you do this entire card, you're really saying, okay, you have dream matches: Copeland versus Moxley, Hobbs versus Lashley, Bowens versus Caster, Strickland versus Ricochet, um, MJF and Wardlow as a tag team, Osprey and Omega, Fletcher and Okada. So, these things do matter, really. You really want to show that matters. And they'll say with Revolution, okay, that's our big American show, so we need to, really kick it into high gear. We need to have stuff that matters and goes places. We do not want AEW Grand Slam to be a filler show. So I think with everything said, that this would be a really awesome kick-ass card. And definitely, Tony needs to stop doing creative, and he needs to hire Byron motherfucking Andreas, because I can definitely book AEW way better than that bitch ass nigga ever can. I'm serious.